asked by about 100% of my guests the following question: is Brazil safe? Well, the short answer is yes, it is. Absolutely things can happen there. Just like absolutely things can happen in your country. There is a small list of rules that I follow on a daily basis when I leave my house, and I'm going to share them with you. I just want to preface this by saying I've lived in Brazil for many years, and I've worked in the tourism industry for many years as well. Not a single thing has happened to me, nor has a single thing happened to any of my guests. I do not limit my life. I do not limit the neighborhoods I go to, the samba parties I attend. I live a very normal life, and I encourage my guests to do the exact same. Number 1, be aware. I am always aware when I leave the house or the accommodation that I'm staying in. I don't leave talking on the cell phone or mobile phone. I don't leave rummaging through the purse or looking for my camera. I shut the door behind me. I am aware of who's in front of me, who's in back of me, what's happening on the street, and I continue on. Yes, I stop to look at beautiful things. Yes, I stop to chit-chat with people, but there's always an awareness of what's happening. I don't live in a little bubble or oblivious to what's around me. I'm not paranoid, and I'm not looking for anything. I'm just simply aware. Number 2, use your instincts. Not everybody's out to get you in Brazil. Just because you're in a certain neighborhood or a person's wearing a certain type of clothes or they have a certain type of look means that they're bad. Quite the contrary, really. Things can happen anywhere. There is no specific time of day or location where you can avoid any sort of danger. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. Just things can happen in the wealthiest neighborhood just as things can happen in the poorest of neighborhoods. I try to use my instinct and see, is this person and is this situation right for me at this moment? I look people in the eyes, I get a feeling, and if not, then I get out of there as soon as possible. Number 3, don't be flashy. I don't bring expensive goods out on the street with me. Mostly I don't bring goods, period. If I don't need to contact anybody, I leave my phone at home. I try not to bring a camera unless I want to take pictures of something very specifically, and I rarely leave with a purse, definitely not a backpack. If I do need to carry something with me, I bring a little tote bag that looks unobvious, or I bring a tiny little purse, and I put in it only goods that, if they do get stolen, it won't be a big deal. I try to keep copies of my passport and my IDs with me instead of the actual things. This is not a problem in Brazil. Number 4, I always look like I have purpose. If I'm in a new neighborhood or I'm a little bit turned around, I don't look like I've never been there before. I look like I know what I'm doing, and I walk to the closest store that looks respectful. I go in and I ask someone who looks responsible, like they're from that neighborhood, where do I go? And worst comes to worst, I jump in a cab and I go to some place where I know and I feel comfortable. My rule of thumb is I don't mind getting in a cab in Brazil. I find them pretty safe and usually very pleasant experiences. And I use Uber whenever I have internet connection. This is great, especially if you don't speak the language, because you can put in your final address and there doesn't need to be any communication exchanged except for the smile, hello, and goodbye. Last but not least, my rule is the more the merrier. If I'm in a place and I'm all alone, whether that be on a hiking trail or on a street, even if it looks safe and peaceful, or at the beach, this is a no-go zone. You always want to be when there's other people around. Even if it's at nighttime and you're getting a feeling for the neighborhood that doesn't feel right, but there's a lot of people, maybe they're having drinks and there's families and such, this is a very good sign. Often ends up being the most fun as well. So, final note, don't worry. Have a great time. Follow these simple rules and everything will be okay. Enjoy your trip to Brazil.